Hey, people of YouTube, how are you guys doing? How are you doing? Uh, so I wanted to just pop on for a few minutes on this Sunday. I would say beautiful, but it actually looks like it's about to storm outside. But this relaxing Sunday evening, I wanted to just pop on for a few minutes because there's something that I was really on my mind. Usually I do like Addison inspired on Sundays. That's been my new thing. But there's something that just kind of like it's been interesting because I did a workshop yesterday and I kind of heard this. I verbally heard this several times throughout the workshop. And then I had some client appointments and I heard this in every single one of my client appointments over the last few days. And then today I was with some family and that is exactly what they verbalized to me. And I went, okay, this is a message. This is a message. And when I get a message like that, first of all, I hear it and then I go, okay, now I have to go share it. I have to process it. I have to go, okay, like what is this message for me? Because I'm always wanting to grow and expand. And if this message is coming to me, then I feel like I need to, especially when the message is coming in such a kind of a small amount of time. It's like, okay, I have like this is a spirit-led share here. But hold on, I'm gonna fix this because I feel like really high up. YouTube. Okay. Since YouTube does not let me live stream from my phone, still doing it on my computer. Poor me. Wah. But what this kind of message that I kept getting from clients, from family, from hearing it in workshops, even I think I heard it in a book I was kind of listening to. It's this thought process of it just is. It just is. And sometimes we talk about that it just is in a good way. So every single freaking morning, I do a journal entry. I do manifestation journaling and I go, I don't know how, but it just is. And I claim what I desire. I claim what I want to pull into my life. I'm like, yes, this is just how my life is. And I have faith and I just step into it and I work on really expanding in that way. However, we can do the opposite of that and we can end up using that same phrasing, that same thought process, that same belief system and ingraining things that we don't necessarily desire into our lives. What do I mean? So one great example that actually came up, not for me, but came up that I was hearing over the last few days is somebody talking to me about losing weight and how it's hard. It is hard to lose weight. It is hard to lose weight. It's like a struggle to lose weight, getting to a certain point, and then it's like I just have to really struggle. I'm like, okay, that's a belief system. That's a belief system that you have that is holding you back. You have this, it just is hard. Well, is it really hard, or are you continuing to validate that belief system that's hard? And I don't want to be picking on this particular issue because I think it's just very representative of, I think, many other places. But when I heard this, I went, okay, like that is a perfect example of how we're like, it just is hard. Well, I actually used to have this belief system when I was years ago, when I was in a bad place. I was in my own body image and weight stuff like years and years and years ago. I used to probably believe the same thing, and now I'm like I don't have that belief. And I'm also not focused on it, and that I think is the key. I don't have any pull either way. Like I gain some weight, I gain some weight. If I lose some weight, I lose some weight. It's really no big deal as long as I'm taking care of myself. But when I had that belief of like, it's hard, it just is hard. That's what I got. I got hard. Then I heard several people like in workshop yesterday and clients just talking about like, well, like it is hard to do this. It is difficult to do that. I can't just do that. Well, you're telling yourself and validating yourself. And even people outside of us validate that. So I had a family member. I was expressing wanting to kind of be more fierce. Not, I am pretty fierce, but in specific areas, like really just showing up with my fierceness, really being all in with that fierceness. And it's only like one or two areas because I am pretty verbal and like assertive and speak my mind in different places. But there's like one or two places I'm like, I feel myself leaning in and I feel myself leaning out of my fierceness. And so I want to fully embody that because I speak about that. I have clients working on that. And so I am always wanting to keep expanding because I think there's always places where we can be more authentic, more in integrity, more all of us. And so I was like, okay, well, in this one area over here, I really need to step up my fierce game. I need to fully show up. I need to be there. I need to like, roar. Yeah, I totally roared. Yep. I was like, roar. I need to be in there. I need to show fully up as me because then I'm not being authentic. Then I'm not being in integrity. Then I'm not getting my message across. Then I'm not living in alignment with my fucking spirit. And yes, I put fucking and spirit together. Yep. Oh well. But I'm not in alignment with my spirit then. And so I want to show up being fierce here. And this family member looked at me and went, well, that's going to be really hard. That's going to be really hard for you. That's just not who you are. And I went, I'm actually pretty fierce. I'm pretty darn fierce. And it actually, what it did is it highlighted how other people sometimes see us and how we can take this and pull this into our own worlds and go, well, it just is that I'm not that fierce of a person. I could totally take that on and go, see, I don't have to do that because I'm just not that fierce of a person. That's a load of fucking bullshit. It's bullshit. I'm super fierce. And yeah, I'm a badass. Tell me I'm not fierce. But really, it was interesting that I keep putting my hand in front of the camera accidentally. I don't know. Like the camera's like way over there. Anyway, sorry. Random squirrel moments with Addison. That's what we should name these. We should not name these Addison Unleashed. We should name these random squirrel moments with Addison. But it actually did highlight how other people will make kind of observations of us and we will take those on. We will go, it just is that I'm like, for example, like it just is that I'm not that fierce. It just is like, and this person, like it's a family member, so they've known me my entire life. And so my ego could sit there and go, see, they've known me my whole life and they know that I'm not, that's not me. And I'm like, that's not true. That is me. That really is me. If this other person doesn't necessarily want to see this aspect of me, that's okay. Not like I can't force somebody to see different aspects of myself, and nor am I going to try to push that point. But it is interesting because I could take that on. Just like somebody going, it's hard to lose weight. Well, you could get into this like, well, it just is. So why am I trying? And this person who was sharing the weight thing, that's not actually what they were saying. But I heard the phrasing and I was like, that's a perfect example of this. It just is. And I hear all the time, like, well, it just is that I can't, like, I have to pay my bills. And so I have to go and go to this crappy job I want, or it just is that I love this one. This is like one of my favorites. Like, it just is that I can't have a good orgasm. Just is like, I can't. So like, why am I even trying? Like, Like, I can just like get my vibrator and just like get off and and be done. That's fucking bullshit too. That's bullshit. It is. It's not true. It's not true. What it just is in that formatting, what the energy of that is I'm settling. I'm settling. I'm not willing to push. I'm not willing to keep pushing forward. I've decided to be lazy. I've decided not to do the work necessary. And I use the work very loosely, but you know what I'm saying here of like, no, like stepping up, pushing into that kind of shaky ground of like, this makes me a little uncomfortable, like pushing into that, which is growth. That is growth. When we're in that space, that's such beautiful, amazing growth for us. But instead, we settle and we go like, and the way we settle is we're like, it just is that way. So, and it's like, it is like us going like, I can't do anything about it. And it's victim mode. It is us stepping into victim mode. It's other people trying to put us in victim mode. It is other people going, you're in victim mode. You can't do anything about that. On things that you really can do something about. You can change your belief system. You can change your faith. You can have trust, or you can get your ass in gear sometimes, because I know we talk about like, oh, it's not about the work, but sometimes it is about like the fucking work and going and doing what you need to be doing and pushing yourself, and doing it in flow and doing it from a space of it feeling good and from a space of knowing that it is aligned to do, but sometimes you do have to just kind of kick your own ass. So there is that too, okay? So I don't want to like sugarcoat stuff. I don't believe in hustling, but I do believe in kind of stepping in when it is aligned to step in and your spirit and your soul is telling you to step in. But instead we go, well, that's just how it is. That's just how it is. And I think I find it very interesting because it is, as we get older, I think we see a lot more of this when we're little kids, when we're teenagers, even early 20s. We have all this like imagination still, and we have all these dreams and these goals and these desires, and we let life, once you get into your late 20s, your 30s, 40s, 50s, you let life kind of go, well, that's just how life is. And we build up these belief systems about how life is, for sometimes how life is in general, but also how life is for us. And that is just a victim mode a lot of times. Instead of choosing to use that it just is, like in a positive way to move us forward and push us through those blockages, instead of going like, it just is that it's easy and aligned, that I'm healthy and I'm vibrant and my body is at a good set point, or it just is that I'm fierce and I'm passionate in all areas of my life. It just is that I always have enough money with plenty left over, and my inspirations are always flowing to me, and I always have love in my, like, instead of continuing to validate those faith-based beliefs that we are trying and opening, not even trying, because trying is like a working process, but opening to and fully embodying, we continue to tell our old stories again and again, and we all do it. We all do it. But it doesn't mean it's okay. We all do it, but it doesn't mean it's okay. Some of us do it less and less. And the more you're doing your work, and I mean your inner work, which is where the work always is, the more you're doing your inner work, the more you're facing your ego, your shadow self, and facing your ego and stepping into your dreams and your goals and looking towards the positives in play and flow and spirit and trust, which is actually the hardest things for our egos to deal with, are these more light-hearted, childlike feelings and sensations and focuses. The more we get into really looking at our inner work, that is where the progress starts to happen. And that is where we really need to be doing that. It just is. But that's more of a claiming process of positivity and instead of a claiming process of these old programs and beliefs that other people want us to believe, because then if we believe that, then they have company in their misery, or we validate their belief system that is how life is too, or we just validate our own bullshit. We validate our own bullshit as well. So I really want for you guys today to think about some areas that you're like, well, that's just how life is, or that's how dating. I hear this all the time with dating. That's just how dating is. I have my own of like, that's just how that is in my life. And I'll catch myself and I'll go, okay, that's an ego belief. Like, that's a belief system. That's an ego. That's a program. And that's where you go in and you're like, okay, like, I have to rearrange this. I have to choose and make a choice to rearrange this. And that's just awareness and consciousness of who you are and what's kind of filtering through your system in all ways. That's just more of an awareness and a consciousness process, which most people don't want to participate in, unfortunately, because it takes some focus. And I don't want to use the term effort. It takes focus, though. It does. It takes some focus and not kind of walking through life like a robot. Yep. So it takes that awareness, and a lot of people just don't want to step into that. But if you're watching me, then I can almost bet, especially if you're this far into the live video, hold on, need to rearrange. There's a reason I don't sit over here. That's super uncomfortable. But if you're watching me, then you're not one of those people who is willing to just like go with the flow, like not to kind of be that robot and to buy into all their bullshit. You're somebody who is fierce and passionate about changing your life and owning a better life and really claiming what you desire for your life, in your sex, in your relationships, in your money, in your business, in whatever area is important to you. You want that amazing, amazing life. You want that blissed out, beautiful, as my friend Kendall Williams uses, fuck yes life. You want that life. And so to really choose to change those, that's just how it is, belief systems, to ones that will push you forward and move you forward instead of holding you back. And be careful of the belief systems that other people are trying to feed you about yourself. And I think this is most common in, yes, we get people external, like really external, like, because, you know, when we talk about relationships, there are from a I guess we'll call it a psychological perspective, we all have like tiers in relationships. So we have our people who are like completely on the outs, like they mean nothing to us. They are just people we might see in the store. Then we have our next tier, which are people who are acquaintances, who are in our lives, but like we might say hi to them. They're not super close to us. Then we have the next tier, and these are people who are in our world. They do have more importance in our world, but they're not right up next to us. They are not our inner circle. And then we have our inner circle, and then most of us have our inner circle. Like if you look at Jesus, he had a circle. He had his circle. He had his inner circle. And then even in his inner circle, he had his inner circle. So looking at your circles, but I would say the closest people to you will have thoughts and belief systems about who you are, especially if they've known you for a very long time. We tend to struggle to change our viewpoints unless we are very conscious of changing our viewpoints about people in our lives and really, really loving and noticing change and transformation, which let's be honest, guys, most of us are too lazy in our relationships. I think, again, if you're watching this video, you're probably more somebody who is more conscious and is more truly unconditional loving and wanting their partners to grow. But I can tell you from most of the interaction I have with consults and just people I see out in the world, like most of us do not want to expand our viewpoint of other people. Like that requires some effort. But those people who are closest to us, like unless we make that effort to really expand how we think about them, we tend to put our belief systems about who they are. And I see this in family especially, because if you've known somebody since they were born or since they were 10 or since they were 15, when they're in their 30s, 40s, 50s, they're going to be a different person. Now, yes, there's always some core pieces that we hold, but we change and transform. And so being very cautious of that's just how you are that other people are feeding us, and that how we feel within ourselves. So one thing, and then I'll let you guys go, I promise. Though I know you love my shenanigans. I know you love my shenanigans. Another thing is yesterday. So we were doing the workshop and somebody goes, Addison, you're so playful. And I almost burst into laughter. Because for the longest time, that is something I would have told you is not true. I would have been like, I am not playful. I am not playful. I am not playful. For years and years, that was my belief, was that I'm not playful. It just is, I'm not a playful person. I don't have a sense of humor. I'm not playful. And if you would have talked to me at 20, I would have been like, I'm just not a playful person. And I would have said it like that. I would have been like, I'm not a playful person. That's just how I am. That's just how it is. That just is how I am. So you just have to deal with it or not. Well, no, that was me validating my own bullshit of not and my own unwillingness and inability at that time to lean into that piece of me. And so when that person yesterday was like, you're so playful and energetic, I was like, I almost laughed, because it is funny to see how once we start to change our perceptions of self, others will begin. But then there are those people in our lives that will continue to be like, no, but that's not, like, this is who you are. This is who you are. And that's when you either have to shut that down or stand firm in that and be like, that's not true. And like start to help that other person, help set some boundaries and go like, that's not true. I'm going, not, you can never set somebody straight, but really just go like, that's not how I see myself, and validate to yourself. That's not how I see myself. That's not who I am anymore. I've changed. I've transformed. And if that person can't get on board with it, then yes, there's distance and things. But it is interesting because we have these people external, and then there are those belief systems within self. Like I believed, like for the longest time, I wasn't playful. It just is that I'm not playful. Well, now, and for the longest time I wrote, I don't know how, but it just is, I am playful, I am passionate, I am open, I am free-flowing. For years and years I wrote that, and I am playful. I am fierce. I'm incredibly passionate. But it was me leaning in, and it was me stopping. I'm struggling to talk today. Yep, struggling to talk. It was me deciding that I was done telling myself that belief that I'm not playful, because I am playful. So what are your just ises? And so I really want you to take a few minutes today and write like 10 down for the things that you just believe, like they just are about life. They just are. They're givens. Like, and I mean those ones that you are like, okay, that's a program. That's a program. Really look at that. Look at the things that people tell you about yourself. But most importantly, what are those belief systems about yourself that you're continue to validate, and where can you kind of transition or transform or really push out of that, and prove yourself wrong, because internally, if you really tune in and really connect with self, where that is the truth and that's not. So there are things, I mean, like I could go like, yeah, that just not is not a piece of my personality. But there are also those pieces that are in you and you're just not allowing them to be seen. So step into those pieces. Allow yourself to be seen fully. Allow yourself to embody yourself fully. So yeah. Well, on that note, I'm gonna let you guys go for the evening so I can go make some yummy food for myself, stuff my face. I don't have anything to announce today. I do have some upcoming announcements that will be happening. Or I lied. Tomorrow, I have Free Spirit Talks at 12 o'clock with the beautiful and wonderful Kendall Williams. So check that out on Facebook. That always happens at Facebook on Central Standard Time. So check us out at Free Spirit Talks on Facebook. And that should be it's always a fun talk. It's always playful and fun and just hopefully a really good learning experience. Other than that, any workshops, I have some stuff coming up, but I'm not anything tonight. Other than that, I hope you guys have just a blessed Sunday. I'm always sending you guys lots of love, light, and blessings. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for another Addison Unleashed. Love y'all. Talk to you soon. Bye.